House Committee on University advises Vice Chancellors to prioritize maintenance of existing infrastructure rather than initiating new ones. And Mpox curtailment, medical experts call for intensification of surveillance across the country. The Nigerian Army tasks personnel on proficiency and sustained effort for military operations. This is News Desk R3 on Nta News 24. Hello and welcome. I am Claire Adilabu Abdurrazak and we are reaching you live from our studio here in Abuja. In continuation of its statutory oversight visit to federal universities across the country, the House of Representatives Committee on University Education is advising Vice Chancellors to prioritize maintenance of existing infrastructure rather than initiating new ones. National Assembly correspondent Mohammed Rabiu Ali reports that this was the advice during an interface with the management of the Federal University of Technology, Owerri, in Imo State.
Because those are the issues that the committee will take to Parliament, take to Federal Ministry of Education. That this school here has so side of land, but unfortunately so side of land has been taken over by people. We need federal government's intervention to recover this land for the school.
Our tax, as mandated by the Constitution and the House, is to help you put your books in order. If we do not point out this and you reconcile with the chairman and the secretariat, at the end of the day, if public account ceases, they will be wondering what this committee is doing.
These are observations of the committee on some of the projects at different levels of completion. Vice Chancellor of the Federal University of Technology, Owerri, Professor Nta attributes the delay in the completion of projects to lack of funds, calling on the committee to intervene.
Lack of perimeter fencing creates enormous insecurity challenges for us. So Futo is porous. Another thing, of course, is that there is no residence here. We have no staff housing here. So once it's 3 o'clock, everybody begins to head to town.
At Alvan Ekoko Federal University of Education, the committee members were briefed by the Vice Chancellor on the challenges of poor enrollment of students.
We are we're not up to 1 year as a university. We have been operating at the college education level and also interfacing with the House committees. Now, God has upgraded us and also given us people like you that need to help us grow.
The oversight visit has taken the committee to 3 out of the 6 geopolitical zones in the country. Mohammed Rabiu Ali, Nta News.
And in other stories, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, has urged international media outlets to adhere to the principles of fairness, accuracy and objectivity in their reporting on issues concerning Nigeria. Now, the minister played host to the Director Global News and Deputy CEO of the British Broadcasting Corporation, Jonathan Munro, and pledged federal government's commitment to press freedom. Our correspondent Salihu Gwanara has the report.
Nigeria has remained a preferred destination for businesses from around the world. British Broadcasting Corporation BBC is one of those organizations taking advantage of Nigeria's population and rich culture and pledged to continue partnership. Here, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, assured investors with genuine interest in promoting Nigeria's unity in diversity, particularly those in the media industry, a conducive atmosphere and freedom.
The Nigerian authorities, particularly this administration, is committed to ensuring that practitioners in the area of media and journalism generally are do their operations freely without any form of interference, and we intend to keep it so. But we also urge you to continue to balance your stories, to hear our side, our own side of the story. It's not only the bad news that comes out of Nigeria, a lot of good things. I'm sure your correspondents on ground will have seen that. We have a lot of positive things that we are doing in this country, and there is a gradual progression towards prosperity that we are seeing. What we require of you to is understanding of the peculiar situation that Nigeria is at the moment, and to understand that whatever government does is in the interest of not just Nigerians, but the world generally.
We're committed to continuing with our mission and to growing our audience here in Nigeria, particularly those audiences who find consumption of news more challenging, perhaps those who are not as capable of getting news digitally as other parts of the country. And thanks to the partnership we have with the Nigerian people, we have more than 30 million people coming to our news services every week.
The minister solicited support and partnership with BBC to sustain the training of Nigerian broadcasters. In Abuja, Saliu Gwanara, Nta News.
And Minister of State for Health and Social Welfare, Dr. Tunji Alausa, is putting in place a technical team on national laboratory regulation and inspection in Nigeria, with a warning that any laboratory without an automated information management system should be shut down. Here is Uche Ugochukwu with the rest of the report.
Medical laboratories play a crucial role in healthcare, providing critical test results that inform diagnosis and treatment. However, the sector in Nigeria has been plagued by quackery, with unqualified practitioners and substandard facilities putting lives at risk. This has informed the need for stricter regulation and enforcement, which this 15-member technical team on national laboratory regulation and inspection against quackery is mandated to achieve.
And the work of this technical working group will border as well on the DNO project, and they've also given commitment to you, the registrar, that they will help with the improvement of your digital platform as well, and a way that the DNO will fit into the system.
Through an already established framework for accreditation, inspection and certification of medical laboratories, the Medical Laboratory Science Council of Nigeria technical team promised a safe, reliable and effective healthcare for all.
Considering the antecedents of members of the technical team, the people of this country can henceforth look forward to more sensitive and patient-centered regulatory activities that benchmark international best practices. In the next 6 months, the story of laboratory practice in this country will change.
The changes needed in the outcomes of Nigeria's medical laboratories are expected within the 2-year tenure of the team. Uche Ugochukwu, Nta News.
Intensifying surveillance across the country, as well as reporting cases of rashes for risk profiling to curtail the spread of monkeypox in Nigeria, has been re-echoed in Good Morning Nigeria. Now, the guests are emphatic that though the strain in Nigeria at the moment is less virulent, health workers must be on high alert given the unpredictability nature of viruses to mutate. Lydia Sampson monitored the program and now reports.
Though Mpox is highly transmitted through sexual contact, medical experts are urging Nigerians to be cautious, prepared and continuously wash their hands and use sanitizers to contain the spread of the disease in Nigeria. They are optimistic that if lessons learned in curtailing Ebola and COVID-19 are deployed, Nigeria can contain the disease.
Mpox is not like COVID that is spread through, by aerosol and others, but this one is contact. You have to come into contact, either skin to skin contact or sexual contact and all this. So it makes it much easier, to really, protect yourself from Mpox. But unfortunately, and that is the most important aspect there, almost 80% of the cases are mild.
We have that collaborations and we have the exchange program whereby we can support the other countries, and that we have, and that is why we have the system in place whereby each member country have what we call the such staff. We call it rapid response register for each countries. Then the African country have the central one whereby they look at what individual country have in terms of capacity to be able to support other countries.
The guest reiterates continuous health education to equipping the people with knowledge is critical.
We need to be able to produce our vaccines. There may be a time when we would need to vaccinate people against Mpox because there's a vaccine for it.
Okay.
But again, the most important vaccine is our attitude. Hygiene conscious, wash your hands as frequently as possible, be clean, personal hygiene, environmental sanitation, keep your ears open so that if you hear of something that could affect you, you respond appropriately.
Tracking coordinated response amongst countries, the health experts acknowledge must be expanded. They also emphasize the need for more funding and equipping of primary healthcare centers for proactive interventions. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, Nta News.
And still on Mpox and preparedness for curtailment, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention, NCDC, says the country is strengthening national coordination response on managing several endemic diseases, including monkeypox. Now, recently declared a public health emergency of international concern by the World Health Organization, WHO. Now, at a media engagement in Abuja, NCDC's Director General, Dr. Jide Idris, says Nigeria is monitoring development of the disease outside the country. And our health correspondent, Olusheye Adeagbo, tells us more.
In the Mpox epidemiological summary of the NCDC, Nigeria has no record of deaths from the Mpox, but a total of 39 cases have been confirmed out of 788 suspected ones in 33 states, including the FCT between 1st January and 5th August 2024. To counter the spread of Mpox, a highly contagious disease, formerly known as monkeypox, Nigeria's CDC Director General spoke on the workings of the National Mpox Technical Working Group, coordinating a multi-sectoral response activities.
We are intensifying surveillance activities, that's tracking cases across Nigeria to swiftly detect and respond to any new cases. We are working with the Port Health Services. Along this line, 5 designated international airports and some key seaports, including land and foot crossing borders, have been placed on high alert. Declaration forms have been distributed to airlines, especially those coming in from countries where there is an ongoing outbreak of Mpox in the last 90 days.
The center draws on control measures such as getting vaccines and ongoing efforts to mitigate challenges, especially funding.
The Nigerian government is making efforts to make vaccines available to the public, especially for the hotspot areas. These vaccines have been shown to have a favorable safety profile. We are looking for support funding internationally, and that's why, again, we are talking to a lot of our partners.
The NCDC board sensitizes citizens on adherence to proven infectious prevention measures to limit Mpox virus transmission. In Abuja, Olusheye Adeagbo, Nta News.
And you're watching News Desk at 3 on Nta News 24. Let's take a short break. When we come back, we'll take you to Kogi State, where an initiative to improve healthcare accessibility has been launched.
Nigeria, a land of rich culture and diverse voices, where every voice matters. In times of disagreement, let's choose dialogue over discord. Together, we can find solutions through understanding and respect. Let's build a stronger Nigeria, one conversation at a time. Dialogue, not protest. Unity, not division. Nigeria, united in dialogue.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. So let's go to Kogi State now, where, as I said earlier, an initiative to improve healthcare accessibility is set to launch. Now, the program will provide free medical services to residents across that state. And we have a report by Ajibola Christopher.
This meeting follows a 3-day medical outreach organized by members of the Nigerian Medical Association and other healthcare professionals in the state. Governor Dudu announced that the program will include a health train featuring various healthcare professionals. This initiative will visit different regions of the state, delivering medical services and supporting secondary and primary healthcare delivery.
We are going to introduce Kogi State Health Train so that we can serve our people better. And of course, we are going to have a plan so that we can carry out another one before the end of the year. My administration will never play with health. Because a healthy society is a wealthy society.
Dr. Abdulaziz Adams, the State Commissioner for Health, acknowledged the medical team for their successful free medical outreach, noting it as evidence of the dedication of the state's healthcare professionals.
The outreach was actually sincerely far-reaching to the people. It enabled us to deliver healthcare services to the people.
I must commend the state government for that edifice. Reference Hospital Okene is wonderful. What I would recommend for government is there is need for public-private partnership to be able to run that hospital and maximize the benefit.
Professor Solomon Avidime, Chief Medical Director of Reference Hospital Okene and host to the medical team, commended the governor for his approach to healthcare and for addressing gaps in healthcare coverage across Kogi State.
And Ajibola Christopher compiled that report for us. Now, the Pioneer FCT Mandate Secretary for Youth Development and 4 newly appointed permanent secretaries have been inaugurated. Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, urged the new appointees to come up with a sustainable blueprint that will enhance the lives of the people. Onoze Yakubu captured the symbolic ceremony and now reports for us.
The dotting of the I's and crossing of the T's, as well as the warm handshake, set the ball rolling for the newly appointed. And without mincing words, the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike reiterates that the appointments are in response to the clamor by the indigenous people of the FCT. This, he says, is a promise made and promise fulfilled. The minister urges them to hit the ground running by coming up with a template that will enhance the lives and well-being of the residents.
You are the Pioneer Mandate Secretary. You must use it to say, while I was there as the Pioneer Mandate Secretary, this was my program for the interest of the youths. Mr. President has fulfilled his own part. It is for you now to sit down and work with us and work with me and say, look, these are the programs we think that will help the youth. We think will make the youth to the entrepreneur in nature, will help them to reduce the effects of hardship that they are facing.
Flanked by her friends and associates, one of the newly inaugurated permanent secretaries says her new position will spur her to do more for the administration. 4 new permanent secretaries were inaugurated.
I'm here through allegiance
to the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
To the Federal Republic
Onoze Yakubu, Nta News.
And the Forum of National Youth Leaders of Political Parties in Nigeria is taking the lead to mobilize youth structures across Nigeria to ensure no issue is left out in the considerations to be made in rebuilding the nation in this post-protest era. Now, the Forum also believes that the government deserves commendation for the way it handled the recent End Bad Governance protest in some parts of the country. Here is Timothy Yusuf.
This briefing by the Forum of National Youth Leaders of Political Parties in Nigeria followed intense deliberations on the state of the nation. They believe that as the face of the youth of the country who have a footing on the political landscape, the forum has continued to express its desire for alternative resolutions to challenges than confrontational approach.
We strongly recommended the spirit of reconciliation, which is the first step toward reintegrating our young people into the post-protest development agenda. That this dialogue should be replicated in the geopolitical zones and other subunits that will draw participation from our youth in the rural areas, which is where bulk of the youth are inspired to hope of collaboration with them.
The forum unanimously agreed that the consequences of confrontation are always dire, often leaving all factors devastated. Also, it has developed a strategic document that highlights the specific areas of concern as expressed by the youth during the recent protests and the necessary steps required to mitigate them. Timothy Yusuf, Nta News.
Now, for Africa to optimize her advantage in abundant natural resources and take a quantum leap in human development, the continent must look inwards for a solution, starting with right education for her youth. And Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu gave this submission during an audience to the Burundian ambassador to Nigeria, Eduardo Ngowimana. And our State House correspondent, Adinoyo Taiwo, was there, but we'll bring you this report in due course. Now, addressing operational gaps, focus on producing skilled and competent personnel for various military engagements, and that requires continuous training to make the Nigerian Army a highly motivated force towards achieving its responsibility within a joint environment. General Officer Commanding 82 Divisions, Nigerian Army, Major General Hassan Dada, stated this at the inauguration of 82 Division Leadership Awards and Development Course 9, 2024, for senior non-commissioned officers in Calabar. Udwak Edim reports.
The Nigerian Army is at the forefront of protecting the nation's territorial integrity. Therefore, the need for training to ensure professionalism is necessary. Hence, the inauguration of 82 Division Leadership Awareness and Development Course 9, 2024 for senior non-commissioned officers, hosted by the 13th Brigade Nigerian Army, Calabar. The General Officer commanding 82 Division Nigerian Army, Major General Hassan Dada, in his inaugural speech emphasizes on discipline and professionalism.
I therefore urge you to not leave any out of doubt unsaid and take the leadership awareness and development course seriously for the benefit of the Nigerian Army in particular and the nation as a whole.
Director General Nigerian Army Resource Center, Major General Garba Wahab, retired, in his lecture on the course objective and exposition of the Chief of Army Staff Command philosophy, urges participants to apply knowledge acquired for operational success, as leadership qualities was also presented by Professor Oke Ikechukwu.
Everybody is not challenged. You don't have to wait for a senior man to tell you what to do. You must be knowledgeable about your responsibility. Know the responsibility of the other agencies, and that way the issue of clashes and whatever is reduced to the barest minimum.
And then talking about implementation as a leader, that's the what we call executive action, because you have to then go to implementation strategies. Every leader should develop a mental mindset that always demanding for implementation strategies.
There was presentation of souvenirs to GOC, service chiefs in Cross River State, and others. In Calabar, Udwak Etam, NTA News.
And the Minister of Works, David Umahi, has commenced a 2-day flood assessment tour to Bauchi State with the commissioning of 35.4 kilometers Bauchi-Gombe Road. He assures Nigerians of the federal government's determination to ensure total rehabilitation of dilapidated roads across the country for an enhanced socio-economic development. Muazu Hassan reports.
Maluri and Guskuri villages in Katagum local government area of Bauchi State are the major damaged portions by the flood along Kano-Maiduguri Road, which is the major link between the northeastern states and other parts of the country. This assessment visit by the Minister of Works, Senator David Umahi, is aimed at providing a tangible solution on the situation as directed by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
I've designed the project here, and the work is to start immediately. Yes, I want to thank the governor very highly for the palliative work. We reported it in the Council of State that this road was cut, and the governor has provided palliative work.
And sent a clarion call to the presidency, and he sent not only a director or the controller of works, he sent the minister himself. We are very, very glad and grateful, and I assure you, myself and the emirate of this area and our government will come to Abuja and say thank you to you and Mr. President for this quick intervention.
The minister has questioned the use of stunt base at the wash-away portion of the road and questioned contractors in the country against being involved in substandard work, even if it is on temporary basis. In Bauchi, Moaz Hassan, Nta News.
And the next news hour on this station is at 6. That will be News Desk, but you can catch up with more news on the network service at 4, and that will be on Nationwide. I'll see you at 6. Good afternoon.